Everyone. Welcome to Friar on this Thursday evening. We are just about 24 hours before spring break starts, so I'm sure all of you can remember what that time was like here on campus. My name is Bob Ferreira. I am the Assistant Vice President for Special Projects and Strategic Initiatives at PC. I'm also a proud alum of the class of 1983. Tonight, I will serve as your host for the next hour. Tonight, we finish up a three-part Friar Ties series, which celebrates the new School of Nursing and Health Sciences at Providence College. If you did not participate in our earlier programs this week, I invite you to visit the links to the recorded programs that will be sent to you in an email tomorrow. I know you will find the presentations interesting. You may also wish to want to come back to PC, I think, once you see them. With that said, please know that tonight's session will be recorded and is presented in a webinar format. So if you have any questions for our panelists and presenters within this hour, please feel free to use the question and answer function, Q&A function, at the bottom of your screen anytime throughout the program. At this time, I would like to begin by introducing you to a member of our Dominican community, Brother Ignatius Perkins, OP. A leader in nursing education for more than 40 years, Brother Ignatius served as chair of the Department of Nursing at Spalding University, the College of Mount St. Joseph, Aquinas College, and as dean of the College of Health and Natural Sciences at Spalding University in Louisville. He also served as executive vice president of the National Catholic Bioethics Center in Boston, Mass. In his religious community, he served as director of health services and founded the Center for Assisted Living in Washington, D.C. He has also served as Director of Administration and Executive Director of the Dominican Friars Healthcare Ministry of New York, as well as in many leadership positions in his religious community. Early last year, Brother Ignatius joined us at Providence College and currently serves as the Interim Nursing Director for the School of Nursing and Health Sciences. Welcome, Brother Ignatius, for our prayer.
Thank you very much, Robert. This prayer is really a gift to you, our graduates of the Providence College, and we know that you carry that mission forward. So we prepared this prayer in your honor, as well as for all future of our students who will graduate from the School of Nursing and Health Sciences. Oh God, you gave us in the person of St. Catherine of Siena, patroness of nurses, courageous and prophetic women and men, committed to bringing healing and hope to every person who has ever been born. As we continue to enter into solidarity with the world community, guide our caring decisions with compassion that empower us to protect and defend the dignity and freedom of every person, regardless of gender, color, ethnicity, culture, diversity, socioeconomic status, the reason for their illness or station in life, especially the disenfranchised, the vulnerable, those at the beginning of life, those at the end of life, and those who live in the shadows of life. We empower us to integrate the Catholic Dominican mission of Providence College and the vision and philosophy of the Department of Nursing into the professional practice of nursing built on the moral principles of truth, human dignity, compassion, mercy, and charity for every person who has ever been born. To assure excellence in nursing practice in caring and healing of the whole person, through the integration of the theories and science of nursing, the natural sciences, humanities, and religious studies. Empowered to embrace our responsibilities as leaders and citizens of the community and of this nation, to participate in shaping health and social policies through the professional practice of nursing in the tradition of Providence College and the Department of Nursing. To grant us wisdom, patience, courage, and understanding in our prayer and our study, to empower us in our efforts to first listen to one another and to our patients, to build communities of peace and harmony and a common home, especially among the lost, the least, and the last among us. In our prayer, our study, and community, form us for your service. Grant us fidelity to the spiritual, ethical, moral, and intellectual traditions of Providence College. Help us to nurture in each other, in our patients, and among our professional colleagues, love for truth, for goodness, and beauty. Support us in the cultivation of our characters and in shaping our hopes and desires in bringing to fruition compassion, healing, and hope, and enduring peace to our world. In that final moment, lead us and those you have entrusted to our care to the peace of your kingdom. Amen.
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 Thank you, Brother Ignatius. It's always
welcome.
nice to begin a Providence College program with God's blessing. Much appreciated. As you may know, Providence College will welcome its inaugural class of nursing students at the end of August. We are all very excited about our new bachelor's program in nursing and the changes that this will bring to our community. However, for many decades, our Providence College graduates have taken their rich PC humanities education, steeped in Catholic and Dominican values, and further pursued degrees in healthcare. Tonight, we welcome 4 of our PC alumni who are members of the nursing profession. They are here to chat with us about their education and professional journey, speak to the role that their Providence College degree plays in their daily professional life, and offer their thoughts on the future of the nursing profession. We are joined today by Megan Zano Scully, class of 1993, who is a registered nurse at the Surgical Center of Connecticut in Bridgeport. Connor Brown from the class of 11 and a graduate degree in 13, who is a staff nurse at Boston Medical Center, Boston, Massachusetts, Medical Intensive Care Unit and Emergency Department. We welcome Laura Walsh from the class of 11, nurse practitioner at Mass General Hospital in Boston, and Janet Odufanade, class of 19, registered nurse at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Welcome, Friars, and thank you for choosing a profession where you provide the necessary health care to so many in need on a daily basis. We're all proud to be members of your Friar family. Moderating our discussion tonight is Dr. Kyle McInnis, the inaugural Dean of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences. Dr. McInnis joined the PC family in December of 2021 as the college began exploring the prospect of expanding academic programs in the health sciences, including nursing. Prior to joining PC, he served as provost at Johnson & Wales University, where he made a major impact on expanding the breadth of that institution's academic portfolio and established a research infrastructure leading to an influx of federal grants in the health sciences. Dr. McInnis also led several successful accreditation initiatives, including one for Johnson & Wales graduate program in physician's assistant studies and for the occupational therapy doctorate degree. Prior to joining Johnson & Wales, Dr. McInnis was the founding dean of the School of Health Sciences at Merrimack College. There, he hired all faculty and professional staff and oversaw the construction and build out of a 60,000 square feet space to accommodate the offices, classrooms, and facilities necessary for the school's launch. This evening, I welcome Dr. McInnis to serve as our moderator. Welcome.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. And what a night. This is just so wonderful and inspiring to see our panelists and to bring them back, at least virtually, to campus in spirit, to have such a wonderful
We lost the.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Now.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I don't know if you could hear me for the last second or so, but again, want to thank our panelists, and so wonderful to have you here with us tonight. So I thought I would give just a very quick overview of the new School of Nursing and Health Sciences. There's a lot of excitement on campus about the new school. And we were thinking, 50 years ago, or just over 50 years ago, Providence College welcomed its first class of women to the college. And these pioneers set the stage and was truly historic. And as we were thinking about the class that's coming in just 6 short months, they too will be pioneers, the very first students ever in our illustrious 105-year history to start as health sciences students, as nursing students, and you'll learn more about them as we go through. But let me take a couple of minutes. If you were with us Tuesday, you've heard most of this. If you'd like more information, you can click on the link from Tuesday's introduction, and you'll learn a little bit more about our school. So next slide, please. So the first thing that we try to tell people is that, where did this come from? It seems that the opportunity is so timely, and really the answer is it's come from the top. The vision of this new school is really that of Father Kenneth Sicard, president of Providence College. Father Sicard, if you know him, has been with the college in many capacities through many years. He became president in 2021, and when he started as president, the Board of Trustees really challenged him to think big and bold. And in his mind, Father Sicard thought, the one thing that he's always felt was missing from the college was nursing. And later in discussions, we then added the health sciences as well. So I'll just read a quick quote. It's so important. It really sets the stage with our panelists tonight. But Father Sicard says, programs like nursing and the health sciences, which focus on the care of others, respect for the dignity of every person, and the importance of service to God and neighbor, flow naturally and support the Catholic and Dominican mission of Providence College. In other words, it really aligns with who we are as an institution. Next slide, please. So I would point out three things to you, and kind of where we are and what the opportunity is and why this is generating so much excitement on campus and now through the state and through the region, as well as nationally. So number one is we really are guided by PC's Catholic Dominican mission and our core values. Our hopes and our dreams are to help educate and to form compassionate, holistic caregivers grounded in faith and people who act with reason. I think you'll see that with our panelists tonight. We also are leveraging our deep liberal arts curriculum, which is really the foundation of everything we do. The entire liberal arts experience is completely embedded, as it would be in any other major at the college. So critical thinking, complex problem solving, all those skills that our panelists and you alumni have gathered being part of the great liberal arts tradition that we have at the college. And then finally, our approach to the new nursing and health sciences is a global one. We live in a global community, and we act locally, and we have a perspective that regardless of where people are, is beautifully summarized by Brother Ignatius, that it's the promotion of human dignity and respect for all around the globe. So you'll see that in many ways in our program. Next slide, please. So this is just a quick summary of some of the exciting signature initiatives that we are hard at work at in the new school, and how, again, we're intertwined in deep in our relationship with the liberal arts academic experience. So the liberal arts core, the Western Civ program, and is 100% the same as it is for all other majors. So the exact course requirements and such are exactly the same for the nursing and the health sciences. But we've also created new things. So we're working with our colleagues to create healthcare ethics courses where we can really do deep dives and have thoughtful reflection about really important issues that affect healthcare and are things that require great thinkers to evaluate and to create solutions. In the sciences, our colleagues are helping us to create new courses in chemistry and biochemistry and microbiology and those types of things. So we really are tapping into all aspects of the liberal arts. Just yesterday, I am very pleased to announce that our faculty senate approved a brand new medical Spanish minor that will involve deep cultural immersions, a place like Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic and Costa Rica and other places, where our students will be able not only to take courses on campus, but actually have cultural immersion. And then we'll document that through obtaining a brand new minor specific to the medical and healthcare profession. So we're super excited about that. We've also doing some things with the arts, with language arts, with theater arts, and we've had a really exciting program that we're developing where the theater art students will act as standardized patients with scripts and role playing for our students as part of the nursing program. So we're excited to get those actors and actresses to come and work with us. We're also working to develop a new Institute for Medical Humanities and many other opportunities, including diverse clinical placements throughout the state and out the region. So let's keep going, Bob, because I think we've got to make sure we stay on time here. This is just a slide to show you some of the cultural immersions. We're launching our very first Maymester program in global health this spring in May in London. And then we are also beginning to explore and develop one in Puerto Rico this summer. Next slide. Very quickly, this is the shape of the new school. You can see the School of Nursing and Health Sciences has kind of two sets of degrees, and you can actually see the numbers of students that will kind of grow into over the next couple of years. On the left, you see a Department of Nursing with a BSN, a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and soon a new accelerated dual degree nursing program. And then right to follow that will be multiple graduate advanced practice nursing programs. On the right, our Department of Health Sciences is perfect for students who want to study things like physician's assistants and occupational therapy, even medical research, those types of things. And that has a Bachelor of Science in Health Sciences and in our existing program in health policy management. And again, soon to be followed by many graduate programs. Next slide, please. We have fantastic faculty and leadership. Happy again to announce the recent hiring of the new chair of nursing, Dr. Nancy Meadson, who is actually a dean of nursing at Endicott College, just north of Boston. And then Dr. Debbie Levine has been a faculty member for over 13 years and is quite celebrated on campus as a teacher and a scholar. And Debbie is the chair of the Department of Nursing and Health Sciences. And we are in our process for hiring faculty. On the facility side, also a lot to tell you about, but really quickly, the new students coming in the fall, if you can recognize that building, that is the Feinstein building. I guess also before my time was known as Stevens Hall. And that will be the place where students will take their first anatomy courses and a nursing health assessment course while a new building is being built. So it's going to be a really wonderful place during the initial part of the new program. Next slide. And here she is. And this is the brand new program. I'm sorry, the brand new building. It's a rendering. And for those alum out there, if you can place this on campus by looking at the surrounding, I give you a lot of credit. It doesn't currently quite look like this, but this is the lower end of campus, or East Campus, we call it, over by Eaton Street. And the current building where you see this new Nursing Health Sciences is actually Fennell Hall. So Fennell Hall will actually be brought down this summer. And this building will start construction in September. And it's about an 18-month project. It's 5 stories, 100,000 square feet. And I'll give you a couple more quick pictures and we'll get to our panelists. So this is kind of the backside on the kind of Eaton Street corner, the new McCarthy Hall. You can see that directly in front. Holly Hall would be in the upper right. Within the building, we've got just state-of-the-art equipment, the newest of new technologies. So students are really going to have access to everything from an entire 20,000 square foot simulation center to virtual anatomy labs and many other things. Next slide. And I think I'm just about done here. We've got wonderful spaces in here, from things that I think are really important, like a mindfulness suite. And here we're really emphasizing self-care of future nurses and health sciences professional? How do we build resiliency and build the type of mindfulness that we need in, as our panelists will share with you today, in an environment that really requires those types of skills? So I think that's it. If I have anything else there. Yeah, so we're going to get to the panel discussion and the questions. So I guess my first, I don't know if we're good with the screen. We got all of our panelists on. I just check in with Olivia just to make sure. And so I haven't had a chance to actually go through that with our panelists. So as I'm going to ask them for their reactions, but before we do that, I want them to have an opportunity to describe kind of what they studied at PC and what was kind of some of the things in their journeys when they left. How they find nursing? So with that, why don't we kick it off with Janet? Because I know Janet's got a work requirement as a busy nurse tonight. So Janet, you have the honor of kicking us off.
No problem. Hi, everyone. My name is Janet Odufinade. I graduated Providence College in 2019. I got my degree in biology. So my journey to nursing kind of started my junior year at Providence College. The plan was to pursue medical school, but then I realized nursing more aligned with my goals. So I kind of started on my nursing journey there. And after I graduated from Providence College in 2019, a month later, I started my second degree BSN program at the University of Pennsylvania, finished in 2020. And now I work as a registered nurse on a med-surg unit at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital. And I'm actually currently in grad school at Drexel University to get my master's in nursing education. So the learning never stops.
So Janet, I'm going to come back to you before you have, I think you've got a few minutes, is that right?
Yes.
I want to come back to you, but I'm going to go around the circle and kind of get that quick intro from everyone and then kind of dig into some of the things that you're sharing with us. So thank you for that. Megan, how about you? I think we're on mute. I don't know if someone can control that.
Got it. How about now?
You are loud and clear.
Okay. My name is Megan Scully. I graduated PC 1993, so 30 years ago. I worked for 2 years in business. My degree was sociology with the business minor, went into marketing and just needed, although it was interesting, I felt like didn't have a human connection. Everything was behind a screen. I was making money for my corporation, but that was not that important to me. So I decided that I need to make a change. I had worked a little bit for my father, who's a dentist. And I said, you make someone feel better or make someone look better, and you have an instant connection with another human. And so I started investigating going into healthcare. And then I ended up going to University of Maryland, graduating there, doing a second degree program. And then I went on to work at a trauma center that's at the University of Maryland called the Shock Trauma Center. Was there a few years, and then I moved to Connecticut. And I've been in a couple hospitals in Connecticut, and now I'm at a surgical center. And just really happy that I made that decision all those years ago. I've been a nurse now for 27 years. So it's been great.
Thank you, Megan. And I understand you also have a daughter will be starting at PC in the fall.
Yes, I do. I have a daughter who's a senior right now in high school. She's excited about coming to PC. She will not be in the nursing school, but that's okay. Everyone has to go their own, track, make their own choices. So we're all very excited about that and about spending a little bit more time up in Providence. We're about 2 hours from Providence.
Excellent. Well,
Mhm.
thank you so much.
Welcome.
Connor, you're next on my screen here, so why don't I kick it over to you?
Yeah, sure. So I think we should all have a moment of silence for Fennel Hall. I think
Definitely.
taking her next voyage here. I graduated from Providence first in 2011. I stuck around for 2 more years. I liked it so much, and I ended up with a master's in history in 2013. You know, like most, I'm a proud alum from a PC family. Both my siblings went there, and my wife. I met my wife there. 2 of my sisters-in-law went there, and my cousin went there. So I would say the relationships and the experiences there really shaped who I am today. I got out of school, I started teaching, wasn't totally fulfilled with it. I couldn't really put my finger on it. But simultaneously, I, through a friend, joined the local fire department and got my EMT. And that kind of clicked for me. I had an aha moment. You know, I knew I wanted to help people, but it seemed that maybe the medical field was going to be the way to do it, and not necessarily the education field. So I quit teaching. I went and worked in hospitals. I worked in ERs as an EMT alongside nurses, and that was kind of my first exposure to the profession. I was pretty much enamored with it immediately. Had so much respect for them. Really was drawn to the duality of the career. You know, it's such a physical job, but there's also like a cerebral component. Requires a ton of thinking and adapting to different scenarios. So I eventually got my BA. I got into the accelerated program at Curry College. And I got my bachelor's on a little over a year. And I've been working for the last 6 years at Boston Medical, mostly ER and some ICU. And again, the journey doesn't stop. I was fortunate enough to get into the nurse anesthetist school at Northeastern. So I start that in 2 months from now. So
Congratulations. Well, I will tell you that we haven't had a chance to speak much offline, but I actually spent 10 years at Boston Medical Center, so I have a lot of great memories there. So I'm sure your experiences in that part of the city are learning something new every day.
yeah, every day's a school day. It's definitely shaped who I am for sure.
Yeah. And I want to come back to some Fennel stories, but maybe not right now. But I do understand there are some secret tunnels under there that only people who live there have the stories to tell about that. Well, Laura, you are up. Tell us about your journey.
Thanks so much. Yeah. Hi, I'm Laura Walsh. I also graduated with Connor in 2011. And I too was very fortunate to come from a Providence family. So I'm a 3rd generation Friar. I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a nurse, but I really liked Providence more. So I figured I'd do a 4-year stint there and I'd figure it out in the long run. So I graduated in 2011, went to the Mass General Institute in Boston for my nursing degree, graduated in 2013. I worked at Spalding Rehab as a spinal cord injury nurse for a couple of years before moving over to Mass General in the Med-Surg unit. And concurrently working there, I went back to Regis College to get my nurse practitioner degree. I was fortunate enough to be hired as a new grad NP with the Mass General Hospital Medicine Unit as a hospitalist nurse practitioner, where I worked for several years, and I still work per diem. But currently I am working in primary care at Mass General, focusing with the Red Sox organization. It's a very peculiar route to take in medicine, but you can find your way just about anywhere in nursing.
Thank you, Laura. And just as an aside, Laura literally just got off a plane coming back from Ireland to join us tonight. So you don't look jet lagged at all. You look ready to roll.
I think my days at Providence prepared me for that. Yeah.
Right. That's right. So for the listeners who may not understand what a accelerated degree is, so it looks like all of our panelists, and that would make sense, have an accelerated degree because at your time at the college there was no School of Nursing and Health Sciences, and so it was not possible to get a nursing degree. But the accelerated program is intense, right? It's a second degree. You go right into the nursing courses because of your liberal arts and all those requirements that were fulfilled at your undergraduate, this is an accelerated, condensed, kind of on-the-job training and in the classroom training for nursing. Typically, I don't know what each of you, but in the 18-month or 15 to can be as high as 24-month, but then you become, with passing the exam, a registered nurse. So just wanted to point that out. You may have noticed that that accelerated program is actually in our portfolio in the new class as well. So we like you, some of our students are going to figure this out later and say, look, I want to be a nurse. They're already in PC, but they're in psychology or something else. They will have the opportunity to stay with us and you know, into a 5th year, not only to graduate in their basic program, but be able to become a nurse right at PC. So usually when our alum hear that, they say, you know, boy, I was late. We should have done this earlier, but I think that's what the excitement is. So I want to go around again. This time, I want to go a little bit deeper. What I'm really curious about is kind of, we've been describing nursing as a calling, just like a teacher, right? And Brother Ignatius and as a brother and in the Dominican Friar community. And so tell me about that. You know, why nursing? You are all doing something different, and then you made a decision. Just reflect on that if you can, and kind of help us understand nursing as a calling, because it's not the easiest profession, is it? As Sarah gets ready to go back to work at 7 o'clock at night. Help us understand that a bit. Let's go back. I'm sorry, Janet's going back to work. No, sorry, Janet, you do need to go back to work. Janet, let's start with you.
Yeah, no problem. I guess when I was at Providence College, I realized that I love being a caretaker and just that one-to-one connection, and like nursing just embodies that wholeheartedly. So it just made sense for me to go into that career, and like each day I go into work, I know I made the right decision. But yeah, it's mostly like the caretaker aspect of it that really drew me to nursing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So caring for others. And
Mhm.
I wonder if that was part of even selecting Providence College, because we're saying that aligning with mission, right? Our mission at Providence College is care for others, right? And then you ended up becoming a nurse, which is the ultimate profession to do that.
No, yeah, definitely. I feel like PC like really laid the foundation for me to pursue my career in nursing, just because like PC being like a small school and like its own like tight-knit community, it was so easy to make connections. So yeah, definitely PC laid that foundation for me.
Yeah. Thank you. What do you think, Megan? What went through your mind and your, as you were contemplating what you touched on this a little bit with working with your dad as a dentist.
Right. You know, when I entered PC, you know, when I went to PC for my tour, hands down, I'm like, I'm going to this school. I loved it. And I don't know what I'm going to study, but I'll figure it out. So I, you know, entered undecided, undeclared, and started taking numerous classes and really liked sociology. So I feel that I haven't strayed that far from that sociology background as a nurse, because there's so much interconnection there with the whole study of like human social relationships. That's a huge part of like what's at the heart of being a nurse and caring for someone else. So I think my first degree has really helped me with my second degree, just be better at it, more attuned to other people's needs. But yeah, the business thing, although it was interesting when I did it, I just didn't have that connection that I have with the nursing. So I'm just, you know, happy I did it, happy I went and pursued the degree. So
that connection, and
yeah.
again, that kind of what Janet was saying, it really came from within. It sounds like you wanted that connection and to be able to provide that care to others. So Yeah, thank you for sharing that. What do you think, Connor? What happened for you? What went through? You had a bunch of things that you were doing.
Yeah, I think what clicked for me was, service. I think Catholicism, we talk about service to others so much, and I think it dawned on me that I was most happiest when I wasn't building something or sitting behind a desk. Or I've kind of done every job you can think of, including, I worked in kitchens, I've done landscaping, I've done everything. I was a barista at one point. But I think service to others, when you're in that intimate of a relationship with a patient, that was kind of what clicked for me, and that's kind of what led me into nursing as a good conduit for that.
Yeah. Do you think that had something to do with you choosing PC, or was it when you stepped on the campus, you kind of
Yeah.
knew, or what clicked there and kind of putting those two together?
It's funny, yeah. So I think community always comes to mind. Think as a member of the Friars Club for my time at PC, we were in a unique position where we didn't have so much interaction with current students. It was mostly all like prospective students and people who graduated years before. And there was always a common theme. Everyone talked about, his palpable feeling of community on campus. And I think kind of that it transcended through the campus and was pretty integral to the PC student. I think I was really lucky and fortunate to have an understanding of that at such a young age, and as being a current student. I think ultimately PC students take care of each other. Roommates become family, dorms become villages in a way. And I think that really translates to nursing, because nursing is a team sport. And if you don't play well with others, it's not going to be easy for you. But I think you'd almost interchangeably use, PC alumni and nurses. You could describe them both as, a group of people who take care of each other and serve others. And I think that's one of the things that it felt so natural for me to go into nursing.
It's beautiful. Thank you. And so your wife is a PC alum as well, is that correct?
She is, yep.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that has struck me coming to PC, is that the spouses, children, siblings, generations, and I think that says a lot. And I think how you connected that into nursing was really effective. Well, Laura, you may have the deepest generational of our panelists at PC. So tell us about kind of your thoughts and your connection to the PC experience with nursing.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to grow up with a grandmother who was a nurse. And so I saw firsthand how much she loved it, how integral it was in her life. And so, like I said, when it came to, I chose Providence as a foundation of where I was going to go and get my college education and meet my friends that I've seen. My mom and my aunts and uncles and my grandfather all have formed lifelong relationships. And I'm so glad I did, even though it extended my education for several more years in that sense, because similar to Connor, you find this group of people who inherently care for one another. But really the theme throughout Providence for me was there's a cause greater than oneself. And truly, when you step into the hospital and someone, it's a remarkable view on humanity as a whole. A baby can be being born while someone is dying. Someone can be having the happiest day of their life while another family is having the worst. And for nurses to come in and have to, to sit down with a family who's grieving and then go see a family that's, celebrating and be able to transition, you have to have this ability to care and the compassion. And I think that Providence really, it stressed that as a whole, to take care of one another. And it's not just you anymore, it's everybody here, which I thought was unique to that campus.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, Laura. So it kind of reminds me about when we first started the journey about, creating this new school. And it's actually, I credit Brother Ignatius Perkins. He really said, our goal here is to help to form and help to cultivate compassionate, caring healers, not technicians. And so what we've really tried to do for the last the last year developing our curriculum and creating our experiences in the new school is exactly what each of you are telling us. I mean, I think a PC student to begin with is coming, they're kind of a natural to go into nursing or into the health sciences, you know, a speech and language pathologist or other areas, because I think that's who we attract, you know, as a college. So anyway, all of you, thank you for that. So this is a little bit off script, but I want to ask you, when you first heard of that PC is going to start a nursing school, I would have loved to get a picture of of your face to say, like, was it one of surprise? Was it one of, I wish it was, you know, what did you think when you first heard the news? So let's start with you, Megan.
Okay, well, I was really excited because I feel that, you know, school nursing health sciences is a perfect natural fit for our college. And it was, like you were saying, with the compassion, you know, at the heart of nursing and all the health sciences, whether you are, you know, a PA, a nurse practitioner, doctor, OT, PT, you are working, you know, with a group of people. You're never really truly alone. You know, healthcare is definitely, like Connor said, a team sport. So just the whole idea that, you know, PC is opening the nursing school and health sciences school together, I think it's perfect. It's a perfect fit. I think there's a definite need. I can see that in my practice. It's really hard to hire nurses right now. And we have been trying to staff our surgical center, and it takes a long time to find someone who is a good fit. So I think I'm glad that PC is doing it. I wish it was done, you know, 35 years ago, but that's okay.
Gotta start sometime.
Yeah.
Thanks, Megan. Connor or Laura, do you want to add anything to that? I'm just, again, curious about when you kind of got the news, and what did you think about, you know, this match of PC kind of going into this area? Why don't we switch it up? Laura, do you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, sure. I was relieved. I think in a time where nursing, if the last 3 years have taught us anything, we need compassionate caregivers. And if we can make it even just a little easier for somebody to get the nursing degree in the 4 years, as opposed to have to continue it on, in addition to the type of people who are attracted to be students at Providence College, it was a relief for me and very exciting.
Oh, I'm going to use that one. I haven't heard the relief. I love that. What do you think, Connor?
You know, I'd have to actually agree with the word relief. Definitely, it just made sense. I mean, it's also, part of me was jealous. The other part of me is, I don't know, I kind of got into nursing like Forrest Gump. I didn't grow up thinking I was going to be a nurse. I kind of just like stumbled into it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would redo anything differently, but PC definitely made me the nurse I am today, you know, for all those reasons. Going through that, you know, like the core curriculum and everything like that, it's definitely a unique experience. So I'm happy that, you know, scores of students in the future will get to have that dual experience of being a PC student, also getting to do nursing there.
Yeah, for sure. So let's keep going on that, Connor, because I was going to ask about each of your experiences in the liberal arts. You heard in my introduction, we're leaning into the liberal arts foundation. It's not, hey, get these classes done so you can get into the good stuff. It's like, no, that is our foundation. That's our differentiator. But what has it meant to you in practice in your profession? But Connor, you started there. Keep going with that thought.
I think the ability to learn like a wide range of knowledge and concepts is pretty integral to PC's curriculum. I think PC, we always hear PC students have famously been referred to as well-rounded for like ever. I think that term has been thrown around for a long time. And there's a rich history of PC of, you know, teaching liberal arts alongside other vocational type majors like business, and obviously it works really well. my wife and I have been at the airport and we've like literally seen people with done with Civ shirts. I don't know whether school is like, it's not like totally dorky to walk around with a shirt about a class you finished. But I think nursing is becoming extremely dynamic and fast paced. And the expectation now I've noticed is that you have to simultaneously master and learn concepts and skills at the same time. You have to be a super quick study. You have to adapt like rapidly. And I think the PC education will definitely give these kids a good liberal arts foundation with which to do this. I think there's this new trend with these new graduate residencies, and they're popping up everywhere. And 22-year-old kids are getting out of school, and they're not just going. They're going into specialties, ER, ICU, OR, these very intense situations. I myself was lucky enough to get into one at Boston Medical in the ER. And, there was a really steep learning curve, but I feel like Providence College's curriculum and my liberal arts background gave me that ladder. I like totally was able to learn. And, there were times where, I'd be triaging a patient, and we were the busiest level 1 trauma center in New England. So we got people via ambulance from all over the area, and they come with paper charts like this thick. But because I was a history major, that's nothing for me, right? Like, just could sift through it real quick, distill all that information down to a nugget, and I can make a decision. And ultimately, that's what patient assessment is, right? You're scanning a patient for injuries and symptoms, and you're trying to distill that information down into something to make a decision. So I think the liberal arts thought process goes really well with the nursing process.
Well said. It sounds like our ability or our work by our tremendous faculty to teach you how to think, not memorizing facts. But Megan, it's been a while since you've had the DWC. Are you still using those skills?
I would say yes. I mean, when I went to Providence, DWC was 5 days a week for 2 years, and you're you're being taught by professors, 4 or 5 different professors in a team, interdisciplinary team. Everyone has their own styles, so you have to really be a good listener. And I feel like as a nurse, that's something, in order to help patients, sometimes you have to really be a good listener. It's hard.
Yeah.
Patients sometimes don't have a good concept of their own health histories. And so you are constantly listening for clues when you're speaking and listening to a patient, so that you can pick up, oh, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. I think you're taking medicine for this, disease, like maybe high blood pressure, but they might not say, I have high blood pressure, So it's like you are solving a mystery all the time. So I think starting at PC, in a course like Civ, and being, in a classroom, like a lecture classroom 5 days a week, learning from all these different teachers, help prepare you for doing that. Also, just helps prepare you for communicating with the patients. If you can't listen to a patient and communicate well with the patient, you can miss something that is really vitally important, that could affect the outcome of their care. So I know it's been a long time since I've been in Civ. It's only 3 days a week, I hear now. Kind of jealous about that, but I do think it was a great course. Happy that I was able to take it. So
I'm glad you brought up the listening skills. It's something we've been talking a lot about, and emphasizing the value that students, those skills that they're going to develop. So thank you for bringing that up. Laura, I know you must have a couple of things you want to add to that. Then I want to get to, I can see the clock. We're going to have to go quickly on that, but I got to get your thoughts on this. Your liberal
Yeah,
arts-
I
your
think,
liberal arts
with
background.
the liberal arts humanity background, and especially with Western Civ, it engaged you, it challenged you, and it humbled you, right? You weren't the master of every topic. You had to learn when to ask for help and learning certain parts where you excelled in others. And I think that's a huge portion of nursing, and kind of plays into that teamwork. And you're not the expert in every aspect of nursing, nor should you be. And you rely on your coworkers to help you kind of piece that together. And so I think, for me, I know when I went into the accelerated program and the NP program, I had already had experience talking with like not only just engaging with my peers, but professors and faculty, administration, and alumni. So I could communicate with several different types of people, and I knew when to ask for help. And it set a stage for success in longitudinally, not only just academically, but also in the hospital.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
So it's probably not surprising to you, but we got approval for the program in September, and in 4 months got 1,300 applications for 100 slots, 50 nursing and 50 health sciences. So I wouldn't want to compete against the students who are coming in, because they are as our dean of admission says, the quality is through the roof. And I think, it's an exciting time. I think you've set the stage. You are the demonstration of what a PC nurse, what we hope to, to produce, to graduate, to form. So we have super talented students come in. If there is as worldly and as insightful and thoughtful as you, then we're in a great position. But yeah, the demand is crazy. Highly selective program, and just some wonderful talent coming in. So here's my last question. Knowing what they're about to engage in, 4 years of intense study, but intense fun at Providence College, what advice would you give our incoming students? We'll do kind of a quick, if you could think of anything, what advice would you give to an incoming student, the very first class of nursing or health science students? Let's go with Megan.
So I would tell them, of course, they know that they're going for nursing or health science, but not to have such tunnel vision, and not to just worry about those classes and say all the other PC classes or PC core, that's secondary, because this is really what I'm here for, is nursing. I would say embrace all the core classes, because there are things in the core classes that, will be gifts to them in the future, that they'll benefit from learning in the core classes. You can't be like a full person with just studying like one subject. You have to just to be more well-rounded. And that's what PC Core will give you. So, keep an open mind to all the classes that PC will have you take that are outside of your major.
Great advice. Laura, anything to add to that? What do you want to tell our incoming students?
I think, enjoy the experience, make sure that you enjoy college, get your education, get your nursing degree, take that, but with that nursing degree comes a whole host of knowledge and compassion. It gives you diversity. It allows you to see a patient as a whole being, and not one patient has ever been the same for me. Everybody is different, and allowing yourself to have a diverse education while you're at Providence is only going to set you up for success as a nurse.
Fantastic. Take your time. It's going to go fast, right? Looks like you have the final word, Connor.
I guess my advice, hopefully it's usable. I guess it's more about after the fact, after you get out of school. But I often think about my mentor and hero is this guy, is a paramedic I worked with when I was an EMT. And he had been doing it for like 35 years. I think his EMT number was like 1 in the state of Massachusetts. And I would ask him, like, how has he been doing it this long? And he said, I'll never forget this. He said to me, don't be afraid to be an expert at being a novice. And this is, this is someone who would constantly go to continuing education. He was always drilling himself, going to classes. And I think that's, for nursing, I think it's more of like, take advantage of the versatility that nursing affords you. You can become, you can go from surgical nursing, you can do med surg, you can do ICU, you can do anything you want. I think it's important to stack your resume with as many different experiences as possible. It'll make you a better nurse. It'll ultimately make you more marketable in the job market.
Fantastic. We need to take you on the road, all of you on the road with us. Your examples and role models and ambassadors, and we greatly appreciate this time. I feel like we could go for another hour, but I know people, it's a Thursday night and it's we're getting ready for the Big East back here at PC. We'll be out in New York City next week. And Bob, I'm going to invite Bob back on before we give a final thanks to our panelists. Is there anything? I know we must have some questions out there. I'm not sure we have a ton of time here, but is there any wrap up you'd like to do?
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you to all of you for this, this opportunity to hear your story and for you to definitely, confirm everything that we've thought about starting the School of Nursing and Health Sciences at PC. You made me feel very old tonight because I knew all 3 of you as students here. So I forget my age at times. So, but thank you very much. Like I said, again, you make us all very, very proud. And Megan, we know you're going to be back a lot next year, and Laura and Connor, definitely, you're always welcome to come back. We do see you guys at things, and I'm looking forward to showing you the new facilities as soon as they are ready, which is going to be very soon for our temporary space in Feinstein. So I also want to take this opportunity to thank our partners in the Office of Alumni Relations and the Office of College Events for making this evening possible. I also want to send a shout out to Janet too, who unfortunately did have to leave halfway through the program. She was very excited about this and a little disappointed when things came down, but work called and she needed to be there. But we're going to get Janet back. We're definitely getting back for something. Just as Kyle mentioned, we're getting all of you back again too. So thank you again. And to our audience out there, thank you for your time and thank you for your continued support and trust in these programs that we run. They're wonderful ways to engage our alumni and to keep everyone connected here to Providence College. As mentioned earlier, there will be an email that will go out to everyone with the links from Monday's presentation, Tuesdays, and tonight's. So we hope that you not only review them again or watch them again if you'd like, but also share them. Please share them to your families, your friends, everyone in your Friar network, anyone who is thinking about the School of Nursing and Health Sciences at Providence College. We can definitely look to rely on you to help, push that information out. So thank you very much. So until the next time, I want to say thank you one more time. I know you can never say thank you enough, and especially to amazing friends and alums like you. So have a good night, everyone. And thank you again to our audience out there. God bless.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Go
guys.
Friars.
Thank
Go
you.
Friars.
Friars.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.